Job 22 verse 1 to 26 through the Bible. Chapter 22, Part 1. Theme: the third discourse of Eliphaz. Here we come to the third inning, if you please. This is the third time that these men get into the arena to battle an intellectual battle. This kind of thing is not so attractive today. We had debate teams and that type of contest when I was going to college, but it was no more popular then than it is now. Today we build bigger and better stadiums all over this country. It is a mighty poor city that doesn't have a gleaming, multi-million-dollar stadium for athletic events. However, very little money goes for the intellectual and even less for the spiritual exercise. Here in Job, it is an intellectual battle and a spiritual battle. You know, very few of us have ever been out on the football field carrying the ball or charging or blocking. Very few of us have ever gone up to bat in a major league, but all of us are out in the arena of life in a spiritual battle. This does not seem important to most people. They would rather go and sit in the bleachers and watch somebody else carry the ball. Well, my friend, you and I are fighting a spiritual battle. Paul tells us that we are wrestling and that the wrestling match is going on right now. This kind of intellectual and spiritual battle excited the people in that day. We think they were uncivilized then. We are the ones who build the multi-million-dollar stadiums for physical combat and fail to emphasize the intellectual combat. You will remember that Eliphaz is the man who had the remarkable experience. He had a strange and mysterious vision. He is a spiritualist. He is the one who says, "I have seen." Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, "Can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself?" Job 22 verse 1 and 2. The very nature of the question reveals that a man cannot be profitable to God. He is asking, "Job, you sure think a lot of yourself. But what do you suppose God thinks of you?" He thinks Job is acting as if God might derive some benefit from his behavior, and that if God were not restraining him, he might become too strong for God, that God is holding Job back for this reason. Well, Eliphaz is certainly off target. And it is certainly not comforting to a man who at this moment does need help and light from heaven. Eliphaz's question applies to some church members I have known who think they are profitable to God. Some folks seem to think they make a real contribution to God down here, and that he is rather fortunate to have them on his team. They seem to think that when they get to heaven, heaven will really be improved because of who they are. We need to recognize that man is not profitable to God. We are all unprofitable, which means we are like a bunch of spoiled fruit. Jesus told a parable about service, and he concluded, "So likewise ye, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, We are unprofitable servants. We have done that which was our duty to do." Luke 17 verse 10. Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Job 22 verse 3. These men do sense a little chink in the armor of this man Job. It will be glaring and apparent in just a few chapters. The trouble is that they do not really make a correct diagnosis of the man, and they certainly do not know the remedy. They are not able to comfort him and bring him help as they should. The fact that Job claims to be a righteous man doesn't cause God to jump up and down with glee and throw his hat into the air. I have a feeling that there are a great many professing Christians who rest so much upon themselves and who they are that they really are not trusting Christ. Let me emphasize that we bring no pleasure to the Almighty because we have been good little Sunday school boys and have pins for perfect attendance. A great many folk think that the Lord is delighted with that sort of thing. I don't think so. We need to recognize who we are, and we need to recognize our utter dependence upon God, our great need of him. We are to be looking to him instead of trying to impress him with who we are and what we are doing.